Hey guys, I hope you're having a good day today. I had one of those sleeps where, you know, when you wake up at the wrong sort of time and you feel like a zombie for the whole day? Yeah, feeling a little bit delirious, and I'm ready for this. I've got the beautiful ladies behind me, and we're ready for an adventure, and it's definitely gonna be an adventure. Subscribe if you want to, and let's get straight into it. Am I the gay for calling off my wedding after my fiance's surprise gift? So I, 30 female, have been engaged to my fiance Mark, 32 male, for about a year, and we've been together for about 3 years. I've always known Mark to be a bit unconventional. He's very creative and sometimes takes things a little bit too far in the name of surprise or excitement. Most of the time I love his adventurous spirit, but this time, not so much. A couple of weeks ago we had a small get together with some close friends to celebrate our upcoming wedding. Mark had mentioned that he had a surprise for me, which I figured would be something sweet, like a heartfelt gift or maybe a romantic gesture. Well, as the night went on, after a few drinks, Mark finally revealed his gift. He pulled out what seemed to be a box from a special jewelry store. My heart raced with excitement as I assumed it was a lovely bracelet or a special memento for our wedding day. But when he opened the box, I was absolutely stunned. Inside was a key to a house that he supposedly bought for us. I was taken aback because I had no idea that he was effing looking for real estate. My first reaction was one of shock and confusion, as I thought it was a huge decision that we should have discussed together. As I processed the moment, I realized the house wasn't just any house, it was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town. Now, I get that it can be a great investment, but this particular house needed a ton of work. I'm talking like major renovations and repairs, and I had no desire to live there. Mark had not consulted me at all before making this purchase, and I felt blindsided. Normally, I'd be overjoyed about investing in our future together, but the fact that he'd made such a significant commitment without me crushed me. I quietly took the key and I told him that we needed to talk about this. As we stepped outside, I expressed how hurt I felt that he'd made such a big decision without even discussing it with me first, and that it felt like a violation of trust. Mark got defensive and insisted that it was a wonderful surprise, a way for us to start our life together. He said I was missing the bigger picture and that I should be excited about our future. Honestly, I felt overwhelmed and confused. I told him that I didn't think we were ready for this and that we should focus on our wedding first. After a heated argument, I made the gut-wrenching decision to call off the wedding. Mark was devastated and all of our friends were shocked. I'd ruined what was supposed to be a happy night, and I felt horrible. Since then, Mark's been trying to reach out, saying that he wishes that we could talk about it, but I can't shake the feeling that he disrespected my feelings and my input in our relationship. I've been reflecting on whether I overreacted. Am I the a-hole for calling off the wedding after his surprise gift? I want to know more about what was said in the heated argument that they had. That's what I feel like the main issue is here, because when I read this, I thought Mark's heart was in the right place, and he made a mistake. But OP said, after a heated argument, I made the gut-wrenching decision to call off the wedding. So by the sounds of it, Mark wasn't very understanding of OP's point of view. That's what I feel like the red flag is here. If he did this, and then OP was like, hey, don't do that sort of thing without me, and he was like, oh yeah, okay, I can completely see how that's really stupid and not okay, that would have been alright, I feel like. But he obviously argued with OP about it. You know, like, of course you should talk to your partner about a decision like this, but also the fact that it's a fixer-upper house as well. I feel like that's an extra layer of, oh yeah, we needed to talk about this. It's not like he surprised you with a house that you've always wanted to live in. You don't even want to live there. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, terrible judgment on Mark's part, but what I find the real problem here was his response when you pointed out the obvious. He argued with you. The light bulb did not go on with him that you don't make decisions like this without the other person. That's a sign that he will surprise you with a new puppy, brother moving into your house, that he's quit his job and taken a loan out to start a family business, and then argue with you when you say that this should have been discussed prior. Yeah, that's what I feel like the worst part about this is, that after OP explained himself, he didn't understand, and he still argued with OP about it. Like that comment said, his response when you pointed the obvious out. Like, it really is obvious, and the fact that he didn't understand your point of view and still argued with you about it, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, like, it's a major life decision. By the sounds of it, Mark was super excited about it, but yeah, I don't feel like that's something that you surprise onto your partner, especially if it's a fixer-upper project. Like, by the sounds of it, OP doesn't even want to do that. By the sounds of it, it was something that Mark wanted to do, and only Mark wanted to do. Like, surprise, we're gonna do something that I want to do, but you don't want to do, and I'm guessing that we have to live in it after we fix it up without even asking your partner first. Like, if Mark and OP had been looking at a house that they really loved, and Mark was like, surprise, you know that house that we both love? I bought it and we're gonna live there. That'd be a different story, I feel like, if he was more understanding. Like, hey, I know this is a big decision and I should definitely ask you first, but I didn't ask you first because I know that you wanted this house. I won't do that again, don't worry. But that's not what this situation is. Mark bought a house that he wanted to fix up. OP didn't even want to do. OP doesn't want to live there, and for whatever reason, he still didn't understand OP's point of view. And he argued with OP about it. Mark's like, oh yeah, she's gonna love it. She's gonna love to have this fixer-upper house. Oh, wait a second. I want to do that. My partner doesn't want to do that. And then gets angry at OP. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole. Making a major life decision without you isn't really a good way to start a marriage. And it also sets a precedent for the marriage. Not only is it a surprise house, it's a surprise fixer-upper that's not even a gift. That's a job. And I don't think anybody really thinks their partner wants to be left out of a choice like that. Yeah, that's exactly right. How did he not know that? Like every single Reddit story ever, I feel like this one definitely needs more context. And I also feel like it definitely needs a lot more information too. I want to know Mark's perspective too. But yeah, from the information that we do have here, and the fact that he argued with OP after it, didn't seem to understand that, you know, they should have talked about it first, it does definitely feel like he's in the wrong. There are comments here that are calling OP the a-hole, and they're saying like, oh, he bought you a house. Like, how ungrateful can you be? But he bought himself a house. I'm assuming if OP wants to fix it up, OP's going to be spending their own money on the house that he owns. OP doesn't even want to fix it up and doesn't even want to live there. Yeah, of course the consensus is not the a-hole. Like, did he want you two to fix it up and live there? Or was it only going to be like an investment property? I want more information, but there isn't any more. And also, what did he say in that argument that you had? Okay, let me know down below what you guys think in the comments. And we're moving on to post number 2, which is on Today I Messed Up. Today I messed up by eating 8 chocolate fiber bars before a long car ride with my family and experiencing the most absurd gas leak in history. Let's go. This happened a year ago, but I just remember this horrific event and the poor victims that never fully recovered. I was set to go on a 10-hour road trip through the interior of British Columbia, and with me were 2 of my cousins and my uncle. However, before our 6 a.m. start, I decided the night before to wolf down these chocolate chip fiber 1 granola bars that had something like 75% of your daily fiber intake. Yeah, I'm familiar with those. How many did you say that you had? You ate 8 of them. No. I don't even know what to say. These things were crazy good, and I ended up eating an entire 8-pack of them in one sitting. After that, I went to sleep and I woke up in the morning to a bloated stomach, but I felt fine otherwise. 45 minutes into our ride, the cramps began. My stomach grew larger and larger, and I ended up needing to remove my seatbelt and undoing the zipper on my jeans to give it more space to expand. My cousin next to me couldn't believe what he was seeing. He said it was like the blueberry scene from Willy Wonka. I couldn't hold the gas in any longer, and I asked my uncle to pull over, which he did, and I struggled to get out of my seat as every move was agony. I waddled to the back of the car and I let her rip. A thunderous roar escaped me like an a-hole racing his Harley Davidson around the block on a Sunday morning. The gas hissed out of me as my stomach grumbled, shuffled and shuddered. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that this fart lasted at least 15 seconds. Little did I know that I'd just broken the seal and I would proceed to experience uncontrollable and obnoxiously powerful farts that lasted 10 to 15 seconds on average, with only a brief period of relief between said farts. The fact of the matter was that I was now experiencing major flatulence every 2 to 3 minutes, and we couldn't stop the car every few minutes to escape the smell, so we decided to roll all the windows down and let me let loose whenever I needed. However, we had no idea that this would become a much longer ordeal than we initially thought. Truth be told, I couldn't stop farting for nearly 7 hours, and each fart had to be more epic than the last. By the time hour 2 rolled around, I was sore and aching, and my insides felt like shards of glass were ripping through me. And the smell, it had become so overpowering that we had to stop at a gas station and buy as many air fresheners as we could. I took one of the air fresheners and I sat on it in the hopes that each fart would be freshened up. Instead, it smelled like rotten eggs and pine. My cousins and uncle resorted to using Vicks around their noses to stop the smell. The pain from constantly farting brought me to tears at one point, and I realized how ridiculous it must look to see a grown man crying while farting non-stop. At hour 4, disaster struck. I stopped farting, but I was still swelling with gas. I knew I was plugged up, and if I didn't do something soon, the pain's going to become unbearable. We stopped at a coffee shop and I ran in to use the bathroom. I gingerly sat down on the toilet and I gently pushed, but the pain was too much. I resorted to pushing on my stomach to help things along, and suddenly I felt this wave of pressure hit me that made my butt cheeks break into a cold sweat and start to tingle. Suddenly, and without warning, a rock-hard turd rocketed out of me like a cannonball. Okay, this is getting way too graphic. And plastered itself to the back of the toilet bowl. And with that, this tidal wave of what could only be described as peanut butter oatmeal, I could feel the muscles in my abdomen squeezing my intestines so hard that it actually hurt. It was like when you're throwing up and you can feel your stomach violently squish itself to push everything out. But instead it was my butt that was throwing up. Once everything was pushed out, it was topped off by the longest fart in my short, pathetic existence. One that I could never accurately give the length, other than to say it was well over 20 seconds, and that I could literally feel my stomach shrinking. I destroyed that poor coffee shop bathroom, and I frequently wonder what happened to the person who wandered in after me. Yeah, they probably died. From that point forward, the farts were just as frequent and long, but they felt cleaner and less restricted. It began to feel like I was airing my colon out, blowing out all of the accumulated dust. My ribs ached horribly, but I was starting to feel euphoria wash over me, that I assume was the endorphin rush that my body was giving as a way to protect my fragile mind from this ridiculous ordeal. By the time hour 7 rolled around, my farts had slowly faded away, but the smell permeated my clothes and the seat behind me. Ew. The family had gone through almost an entire container of Vicks, and they did appear to survive the ordeal, but I could tell that a part of them was broken and it could never be fixed. It was as though they felt violated by having to breathe in my butt breath for hours. Yeah, I would, OP. And I knew that my uncle was upset that his car interior would never smell the same again, as it already smelled like hot garbage by this point. This post is absolutely foul, but I love reading it. We eventually arrived without any incident, and we refused to speak at this event. Things were never really the same between all of us after that, and I've got a feeling none of us will ever touch eggs ever again. They already ate enough of my farts, they don't need a reminder. I should have never eaten that much fiber. I had no idea it was capable of that. Yeah, I kind of feel sick after reading that. That was so gross, but so fun to read. Yeah, the top comment. The image of a man crying while ripping enormous farts has made my day. Yeah, I'm okay reading about it. I'm so happy that I wasn't in this situation though. I feel so sorry for everybody in that car. Okay, moving on to post number 3. This one is back on Am I the A-hole? And I hope you guys are excited. Am I the A-hole for not letting my brother's girlfriend stay in my guest room after she made a scene at dinner? So I, 30 female, live in a nice 2-bedroom apartment in the city. One of my bedrooms is a guest room and my family often uses it when they come to visit. I'm close with my brother Alex, 27 male, and he recently started dating a woman, Jenna, 26 female. This weekend Alex asked if he and Jenna could stay with me while they visited the city. I said yeah, of course, because I wanted to meet her, and Alex has always been respectful of my home. Things started off fine, but at dinner on the first night, Jenna made things awkward. We were eating at a nice Italian restaurant, and while we were waiting for our food, Jenna started talking about how people who rent instead of owning homes are financially irresponsible. I laughed it off at first thinking that it was a joke, but she doubled down, saying that it was basically throwing away money every month. I calmly told her that I rent because I like the flexibility that it gives me, especially since my job might require me to relocate in the next few years. She then said, well, maybe if you stop spending so much money on eating out, you'd be able to afford a down payment. Oh my god, like so unnecessary. Alex looked mortified and told her to drop it, but she wouldn't. She went on to say that people like me are part of the reason that the economy is so messed up because we don't prioritize home ownership. I snapped back and I told her that she was being so rude and condescending and that my financial choices were none of her business. And also, why is she acting like it's that simple? She reminds me of that person that was like, oh, why don't homeless people just buy houses? Like OP said, they live in the city. They probably can't afford to buy a house in the city, and also they don't want to either. Like, oh, why don't you just buy a house? Oh, they suck. The rest of the dinner was tense, and when we got back to my apartment, I told Alex privately that I didn't feel comfortable having Jenna stay in my home anymore. Yeah, of course, OP. He tried to apologize on her behalf, but I stood firm. I told him that he was welcome to stay, but Jenna had to find another place. Jenna overheard and got upset, accusing me of being overly sensitive and dramatic. Oh, Jenna, you are the worst. She said that she didn't mean anything by her comments, then why say them? And that I was taking things too personally. What are you talking about? You were being personally rude to OP. You said people like OP are the problem. Alex ended up leaving with her, and now he's upset with me, saying that I overreacted and put him in an awkward position. No, dude, OP didn't do that. Jenna did. I feel bad for making Alex choose, but at the same time, I feel like Jenna disrespected me in my own home and doubled down when called out. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. Jenna is the worst. Yeah, like this comment says, the audacity of this girl. She probably doesn't have a pot to piss in and has the nerve to lecture you on your finances, not the a-hole. Yeah, what a stupid and unnecessary and rude thing to say. Like, Jenna didn't need to say any of that stuff. Oh, maybe if you didn't eat out all the time, you'd have a down payment. Like, so snarky for no reason. Like, oh, I'm Jenna. I know everything. It's not that simple, Jenna. This comment says, not the a-hole. Send a message apologizing to your brother for being unable to host them, but that he can't possibly expect his girlfriend to be welcome in your home after spending the evening turning openly insulting you. Remind him that this situation wouldn't have occurred if Jenna chose not to be an outrageous and then message Jenna explaining that if she feels so strongly that renters are the problem, she shouldn't need your hospitality, and make it clear that she chose to be a over being a good guest, and that this situation is entirely her fault. Yeah, that's right, it's entirely her fault. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a colossal know-it-all and a-hole for no reason, and I'm not even gonna apologize after either. Of course you're not gonna let her stay at your house. Like what, you need a place to stay, Jenna? Why don't you go buy a house? But yeah, insulting OP the entire time. For no reason too, like Jenna didn't need to say any of this. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, surely she could just quickly buy a place to stay in, right? Yeah, the audacity of Jenna. Yeah, and also like this comment says, she can go figure it out and waste money at a hotel. See you next Tuesday. Yeah, what was Jenna even thinking? It doesn't get much more a-holy than this. Your brother Alex should not be upset at you, OP. He should be questioning why he's even with this person. Like, so insufferable. Like, straight up. Like, oh my god. Don't go anywhere near Jenna ever again. Okay, time to move on. The next one is post number 4, and this one is also on Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for cancelling everybody's Christmas because my mum called the cops on my husband? Usually my husband 30 and I 27 female host Christmas Eve at our house. It's nothing big, just my divorced parents and my 3 teenage siblings. This year we have a newborn and we sat Thanksgiving out, but I felt comfortable doing Christmas. Until my mum called the cops on my husband a few weeks back. One of my sisters, 19, called me crying, asking me to go pick up her younger sister, 17, because she'd just gotten into a fight with my mum and my mum slapped her. Our newborn baby was sleeping and we wanted to get the 17-year-old ASAP, so I stayed behind while my husband went to get both of my sisters. My mum and my 17-year-old sister were at the laundromat. Altercation happened at home. When my husband walked up to their car and told my sister, let's go, my mum freaks out, causing a scene, starts yanking on the door, telling him to let my sister out or she's gonna call the cops. At this point, my husband had locked the door and kept telling my mum that he's not letting her out, she needs space and he's gonna bring her back to our place. My mum walks away and I tell him to drive off. She can send the cops to my house if she wants to. I was on the phone with him. She calls the cops and it backfires. The cops side with us and agreed that the 17-year-old should have been removed from the situation and should stay with me for a few days. This enraged my mum. For some odd reason, she hates that my sisters and I are close. She's been telling them for years to keep secrets from me, to not tell me what happens in her house. They still do. She's called family meetings with my siblings just to say that they need to stop running to me to vent. She says that whatever happens in her house is none of my business. She treats me like I'm some random outsider and not her literal daughter, and I'm tired of it. She tends to sweep everything under the rug. She'll talk about an issue and then continue living life like she didn't hurt anybody's feelings. She also has such a tendency to pull the, well, sorry that I'm such a bad mum card, or she deflects and gaslights a lot. After she called the cops on my husband with the intention to get him in some sort of trouble, I'm not letting her just sweep this under the rug and show up for Christmas like we're one big happy family. If she can't come to us like an adult and apologize and have a mature conversation, she's not welcome in my home. So Christmas Eve is cancelled. I'm also not going to raise my daughter around people that make her parents feel like crap. I'm not allowing her to see that the people that are supposed to love you can treat you however they want to just because they're family. Now, backstory on my mum, I never considered us to be close. She put me through a lot as a child, and my teen years living with her sucked. She has serious narcissistic behavior and seriously needs therapy, but I don't even trust her to be honest with the therapist. She's the type to make everybody else the bad guy and make herself look good. There's years and years of incidents with her, but this year I've really had it. However though, I put up with her because of my siblings. So anyway, am I the a-hole for cancelling everybody's Christmas? No, of course not. Can you maybe host it, OP, but don't let your mum come? No, you're definitely not the a-hole, OP. You handled that so well with your mum. And yeah, I know the type too, like just sweep it under the rug. No, that's not good. Yeah, make her apologize, OP, and if she doesn't, then yeah, she's not welcome. This comment says, not the a-hole for uninviting your mum, but I do think you should still host Christmas for the rest of the family because it seems like your sisters and your dad didn't do anything wrong. Plus, hosting the Christmas for everybody while uninviting your mum would send a much stronger message to her. Or maybe I'm just a petty a-hole for suggesting this. No, I feel like that's a good idea, but also for the reason that you're gonna get the sisters away from your mum. Like, imagine how insufferable your mum's gonna be at the moment, OP. I feel like it would be good to give your sisters a place to go away from her, because at the moment they're probably dying to get away from your mum. But yeah, for sure don't let your mum come back to your house, OP. Like you said, she needs to finally be an adult and apologize, and stop blaming other people and stop with the guilt tripping crap. Like, oh, I'm just a terrible horrible mum. Like such a cop-out. Like does absolutely everything but actually apologize. No, that's so toxic, OP. This comment says you need to escalate this to social services. Would you be open to a kinship foster arrangement to get your sister away from your abusive mother? Yeah, that's a good point too. That sister should not be around your mum. This comment says your sisters are 17 and 19, plenty old enough to choose to come have Christmas with you and your husband. You're not the a-hole for uninviting your mum, but she'll torment your sisters if they have to stay home with her. Invite them and have a nice holiday together with your child. I was the first to escape my parents' home. I picked my sister up as often as possible to give her breaks from the crazy until she was old enough to get out too. It makes a big difference and keeps them from getting consumed by the abuse. Yeah, all the best with it, OP. That's such a gross situation. And we're moving on to post number 5. We're already on post number 5. Time flies. This one is also on Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for uninviting my sister from my wedding after she demanded that I change my wedding colors because they clash with her complexion? I, 28 female, am getting married to the love of my life, 30 male, in 6 months. We've been planning our dream wedding for over a year and everything was going pretty smooth until recently. My older sister Sarah, 32 female, has always been particular. She's really into aesthetics and her personal image. She's also used to getting her own way. Oh yeah, this isn't gonna be good. When we were kids, she was always the golden child and my parents rarely told her no. We're not super close, but we're on decent terms. I asked her to be a bridesmaid and she accepted. I was happy to have her be a part of my special day. We decided on a color scheme of dusty rose and sage green for our wedding. I love these colors and they fit perfect with our outdoor garden themed venue. I sent out a mood board to the bridal party, including Sarah, to give them an idea of the overall vibe. A few days later, Sarah called me practically in tears. She said the colors were horrendous and they would completely wash her out. She has olive skin and dark hair, and apparently these colors are her worst nightmare. She demanded I change the entire wedding color scheme to something that would complement her better, like jewel tones. I was shocked. I tried to explain that we'd already put down deposits based on these colors, and it was way too late to change everything. I also reminded her that the wedding is about me and my fiance, not her. She went ballistic, accused me of being selfish and inconsiderate, and said that I was ruining her experience. Oh my god. She even threatened to not come if I didn't change the colors. After a few days of her relentless pressure and guilt tripping, I finally snapped. I told her if she was unhappy with the colors, then maybe it was best if she didn't come at all. I uninvited her from the wedding and the bridal party. Yeah, and fair enough. Now my parents are furious. They're saying that I'm overreacting and being a bridezilla. They're accusing me of ruining the family over something as trivial as wedding colors. OP, do your parents have any brains? You're not the one who has an issue with the colors. Your sister is the one who's ruining family over something as trivial as wedding colors. That's completely your sister doing that. You don't have a problem. Some of my extended family are also taking her side, saying that I should be more accommodating. OP, this is ridiculous. Your sister can get over the bloody color scheme. She will be fine. The wedding is not about her. Oh my god, she's so self-centered. You're not in the wrong here, OP. And yeah, once again, your parents are siding with her. My fiance supports my decision, but I'm starting to feel incredibly guilty. Yeah, because they're trying to make you feel guilty. I'm also heartbroken that it's causing such a huge rift in my family. Yeah, but your sister's doing that. Maybe I should have tried harder to make my sister happy. No. Even if it meant changing my vision, absolutely not. The problem here, OP, is that nobody has ever stood up to your sister. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for uninviting my sister from my wedding because she demanded that I change my wedding colors to suit her complexion? No, and your sister needs to realize that not everything's about her. And of course she's a self-centered brat now that she's an adult. Everybody has always given her what she wants her entire life. I'm gonna have a tantrum until I get what I want. Edit, holy crap, I didn't expect this kind of response. Thank you to everybody who shared their thoughts and similar experiences. It's been a huge help. Still feeling good about my decision, but family drama is never fun. I also want to clarify that she's not wearing the dusty rose and sage green. The bridesmaids are all wearing different shades of jewel tones to complement the decor. She wanted me to change the decor. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. This is your wedding. It's also a chance to start a new family with your husband who supports you. Sadly, it might be time to trim the weeds. That's such a good way of putting it. Yeah, time to trim the weeds here, OP. Yeah, like the comment below that one says. Not the a-hole. You're starting a new phase of your life. Do it on your terms and stop letting your family's dysfunction shadow your life. Tell your parents that they've always favored your sister and now she's a 32-year-old spoiled brat who thinks that your wedding should be all about her. Do not back down. Your life will be better for it. Yeah, whatever you do, OP, do not give in to your sister. It's probably the first time in her whole life that she's not getting what she wants. And that's why she feels like it's okay to act the way that she does. Literally having a tantrum like a child when she doesn't get what she wants. Yeah, bye, don't come to the wedding. Okay, we're moving on to post number 6. This one that we're going to read is on Today I Messed Up. Today I messed up by looking at my fiance's location history and found out that she's been cheating on me. Oh no. Obligatory, this happened 2 days ago. I'd been together with my girlfriend for nearly 4 years. I proposed to her about a month ago. She said yes, and we were incredibly happy. Or so I thought. About 3 weeks after our proposal, I noticed that she starts acting different. Not having sex with me, looking away or down when we kiss. She'd also been spending way too much time, at least 4 days of Monday to Friday each week, with her co-workers drinking beer after work, driving home drunk, and often pretty late. And also they're a cheater? Like, oh yeah, what a catch, a drunk driving cheater. I went to a few of these gatherings, but I didn't really enjoy getting slammed on a Monday night when I've got to work the next day, so I often opted out. We'd also share our Google location with each other at all times, mainly because she traveled to sketchy places for work and I'd regularly go on trails, so it helped each of us know that the other was safe. I looked at her location one day and it was turned off. I texted her about it and she said that she kept receiving notifications about it, so she'd turned it off. That hadn't been a problem for the past year. She turned it back on and then it was off again the next day. She also had 2 phones, a personal and a work phone, which she would keep both with her at all times. I only had the location for the personal phone. Eventually she stopped using her personal phone and only used the work phone. 2 days ago, about a month after the proposal, I decided to snoop because my suspicion was at its highest and I wanted to put it to rest. I used her computer to log into her Gmail account and I looked at her timeline. She'd been going to an address across town about 10 times in the past 2 weeks. I called her immediately because she said that she was at the office finishing up some work that was due the next day. She said she was at work but leaving to go to the grocery store, which she then did. I waited until she got home and I confronted her about it. She said that she'd been meeting a guy from work just to talk and hang out, but she didn't want to tell me because she thought that I'd get mad. Turns out that she met him for the first time about 2 days after our proposal and started seeing him at his house within that week. I kept on prying and asking her more questions. She told me that they'd only kissed twice. Oh, okay, there it is. Then it turned into they had made out, and she denied every accusation of sleeping with him every time I asked. The next day when I got home from work, I asked to see her phone to read the messages between the two of them. She said that she deleted them. So I said I wanted to look at it anyway, just to be sure. I started to recover the data from the last backup. She sat down beside me while I was doing it and she asked what I was doing. OP, none of this even matters anymore. You can't stay with her. I told her and the look of panic on her face was so real. So she starts talking about feelings and all this other crap while the phone's recovering. I asked her one last time, before I look at this, is there anything you want to tell me? She was silent. I asked flat out, did you sleep with him? And she said yes. Turns out she met with him almost every day, starting about 8 days after the proposal, and had sex with him most of those. Funny enough, the data recovery didn't even work, so that's a win, I guess. I'm planning on moving my stuff out later this week to a new place. I haven't told her yet. I still can't believe that she started cheating on me less than 2 weeks after she said yes to my proposal, and even more so with somebody she met a few days after the proposal. Feels so crappy, but I'm keeping my head up. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. That's devastating. But this is not a mess up on your part, OP. This is really good for you. Yeah, like this comment says, you definitely did not up. Get your ring back and sell it and throw yourself a huge I dodged a bullet party and then move on and never look back. 1,000,000%. A drunk driving cheater. That's hilarious. Oh yeah, what a catch. Stuff like this is not like a win on the cheater's side. They have to live their entire life being a crap person. OP, this is a huge win for you. Yeah, like it sucks to suck, doesn't it? OP said, edit. Wow, thank you for all the encouraging comments. They help so much more than I would have thought. Some of these really got to me, and reading that I should have posted this as a life pro tip made me laugh. Most if all, it helped me confirm that it was not a mess up on my part, but actually a gift that it happened so early. Thank you all so much. I'm going to read through and respond to as many as I can. Yeah, no, it's not a mess up on your part, OP. Like, I do feel so sorry for you, OP. This would feel awful, and the betrayal of it is terrible. But it is good news for you, really, OP. You'll meet somebody who's a good person. Okay, moving on to post number 7. Once again, we're moving back to Am I the A-hole? Who's going to be the a-hole? Let's find out. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that she's not allowed in the delivery room? Hello, I, 27 female, recently married my husband, 27 male, back in May of this year. My husband and I recently found out that I was pregnant and are very excited to be first-time parents. However, there's an issue with his family. For context, my husband's family is very large and close-knit. Because of this, there are boundary issues. My husband's parents had 2 kids, my sister-in-law, 29 female, and my husband and the youngest. Whereas I'm one of 3 sisters and me being the middle child, both my older and younger sister each have children of their own, and I've learned boundaries when it comes to posting their their children on social media, I usually post their kids' hands or backs of their heads because I respect my sisters and their wishes. My husband's family disregards this notion and will post whatever. Recently, a friend of ours is due to give birth and my mother-in-law stated that she couldn't wait to meet the baby before they leave on a New Year's trip that was planned a year ago. Now, I know that I'm wrong here when I asked why she would think said friend would allow visitors since it's holiday season and people tend to get sick. She gave me a look, but she didn't respond. Now, a week ago, I found out that I was pregnant and my husband, bless him, was so excited that he told his parents and sister. Soon I was flooded with congratulations texts from his extended family, which infuriated me since I didn't know how far along I am. I told my husband I'm very early and not out of the woods yet of possibly having a miscarriage. My husband got defensive at first, but when I told him that I didn't even get to tell my parents or sisters, and with the hurt in my voice, he quickly apologized. Last night we had dinner at his parents' place to celebrate the news, but also to go over expectations for future news, that we want privacy and to set boundaries. Once dinner was in full swing, his mum had started asking us about our birth plans, and when she thinks that I'll be due so that she can ask for time off, she asked me what hospital we decided, and that she couldn't wait to be in the room. She then mentioned to have a room ready in our house so that she can assist us with the baby. I looked at my husband and then back at her because she kept on rambling on and not allowing us to speak up. Finally, I cut her off and I told her that it's just me and my husband that are going to be in the room. Once we get home, we want a week to ourselves to enjoy the baby. For her staying with us, I thanked her for the kindness, but she won't be living with us. She looked offended and said that her son would want her to be there. I looked at my husband and he told his mum that he agrees that it should only be us in the room and nobody else. My father-in-law, bless him, tries to diffuse the heated discussion by stating to his wife that it's okay and times are different. She somewhat simmered down and asked once I find out the gender if I can allow her to do a gender reveal. I told her we don't want to know the gender, it's going to be a surprise. She said that's okay, bring me the ultrasound photos and I'll know. I so badly wanted to respond back to her, but honestly I was so emotionally drained. I stayed quiet for the rest of the night and I've been a tad distant to my husband. Today I got a text from my husband's relative stating that I was an a-hole for telling mother-in-law that she can't be in the room and that I'm robbing her of that experience. Reddit, am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law no? No, OP, she's overstepping everywhere here. OP's got this comment. Thank you so much. I'd started to feel like I was more of an object of their future grandchildren than their soon-to-be daughter-in-law when my husband and I were planning our wedding. My husband and I have been together since our sophomore year of high school and they've never once talked to us about grandkids. Of course, it did change once we got engaged and there was this pressure after the wedding. Some comments were made, but I never really took them to heart. We once told his parents that we planned to maybe wait one more year and his parents threw a fit that they're not getting any younger. My husband and I were genuinely not trying, but also weren't being careful either. We just had the if it happens mentality. I'm hoping that nothing else will be brought up. I did show my husband the text that I got from his relative and he did apologize for saying anything at all. He was really excited, but I can tell that he's remorseful. And OP also has this comment. Hello all, thank you so much for your reassurances and your congratulatory messages. It really means a lot to me. I was not expecting so many comments on the matter. So again, it does mean the world to me for your advice. I wish I can respond to you all, but trust me when I've been reading them and I do appreciate the positive remarks. Now to a semi-update, I guess. My husband's relative, which a lot asked who, his cousin-in-law, really put doubts in me. She had her mother-in-law, my mother-in-law's sister, in the room with her and she assumed that I'd be doing the same. I guess my mother-in-law had complained to her sister and cousins-in-law overheard and then decided to insert herself. We've never really gotten along and would say that I'm not real family when my husband and I weren't married, but I've known his family the longest. I did see a lot of recurring questions about my husband's relationship with his mum. Yeah, my husband is the biggest mama's boy. Doesn't help that he's the only boy and he's the baby, but it is what it is. They do have a strong relationship, which I love so much, but it's currently causing issues in our relationship since mother-in-law is assuming that she'll be there starting birth and so on. Yeah, he needs to step up here, OP. To be clear, I'm not taking her rights away as a grandparent. I like my privacy and I learnt by example as my siblings have done so in their families. My husband and I are still discussing the trivial matters, but we've put a pause on this as we're enjoying the news of our little bundle. A recurring comment on my in-laws' behavior prior to us being married. His family never pushed us on marriage despite us dating for so long. They encouraged us to finish our degrees and establish our careers before marriage. Their behavior really started to change once my husband proposed and they began to make comments on grandchildren. I know they really want to be grandparents, but they're becoming pushy now that I'm expecting. Comments on my own mum. My own mum does not want to be in the room. She said 2 siblings whom already had their kids, she refused to be in the room. She could not handle the stress with childbirth and my siblings didn't have the easiest birthing experiences also. I do have a doctor's appointment this week to see how far along I am, but I already told my husband that we will not be announcing this to the family. I did tell him if he does tell his family about the doctor's appointment, then we really need to reevaluate our marriage if he thinks it's okay to break my trust. I hope I don't have to update regarding this as I get further along, but who knows? Thanks again. Yeah, like this comment says, it's your husband's job to shut his mother down. Yeah, absolutely. He needs to step up here, OP. Also, the comment above that one. one, not the a-hole. It's not your responsibility to provide experiences for your mother-in-law. She had 2 kids, so she's had that experience twice. Yeah, the mother-in-law has never even heard of boundaries. Like, they were overstepping from the very beginning of this post. No, you're so not the a-hole OP. Okay, moving on. Post number 8. This one is also on Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not letting my coworker borrow my lunch after she forgot hers? How do you borrow lunch? I don't want you to give that back to me. I, 26 female, work in a small office and we all usually get lunch together in the break room. I make an effort to bring homemade lunches to save money and I often meal prep for the week. Yesterday, my coworker Emily, 30 female, forgot to bring her lunch. She asked if she could borrow mine, saying that she'd pay me back later or bring me food tomorrow. I told her no, politely but firmly, because number 1, I was really hungry. Number 2, I didn't have any extra food. And number 3, I don't like the idea of giving up my only meal, even if she does promise to replace it. I offered her some snacks from my desk. I keep a granola bar and nut bars in there, but she turned them down, saying that she needed a real meal and not rabbit food. Wow, okay. She then made a passive-aggressive comment about how she thought that we were friends and how sharing one meal wouldn't kill me. The vibe in the break room got awkward and she ended up leaving to buy something from a nearby deli. Later, another coworker mentioned that I could have just shared and that Emily was probably having a rough day. Now I feel bad because I didn't want to seem unkind, but I also feel like it's not fair to expect me to give up my food just because somebody forgot theirs. I'm not a lunch vending machine and I was hungry too. Am I the a-hole for not letting her borrow my lunch? Of course not. No, OP, the issue here is how she reacted. It's completely reasonable that you didn't want to give her your lunch. You didn't have to. Obviously, like, she shouldn't have got upset at you for that, OP. OP said, for context, this isn't the first time that she's forgotten her lunch. It's happened a couple of times before, and she's asked others for food too. I've also shared snacks with her in the past, but this time it felt like I was being guilt-tripped for saying no. Yeah, you were. It's not like she didn't have other options. There was a cafe and a grocery store within walking distance, so she wasn't stranded. Additionally, I meal prep carefully because I'm on a tight budget. My lunch isn't just extra food that I can give up. It's literally what I rely on to get through the day. That's so entitled of Emily. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. It's not your job to feed her. She's a grown woman. She can take care of herself. Yeah, and you're not rude for saying no. Like, if you wanted to give somebody your lunch, that's also completely fine. But you're not the a-hole if you say no. And I feel like that's common sense, isn't it? But Emily is just entitled. It's one of those situations where after the person says no, you shouldn't make them feel bad because they're not going to give you their lunch. Like, they don't have to give you their lunch. Of course they don't. The fact that she even had the audacity to guilt trip you because of this, OP, is wild. Like, you're making me feel bad because I don't want to give you my food that I need. And also, OP offered them some bars and stuff, but they didn't want to eat rabbit food. So entitled. Okay, moving on to post number 9. I can't believe we're already at post number 9. I hope you guys are enjoying the episode. I told my sister's husband that she was trying to get pregnant behind his back and ruin their marriage. Am I the a-hole? 33 female. I come from a family where I'm the oldest of 3 sisters. I'm also a wife and a mama to a rambunctious 5-year-old. My younger sister Emily, 27 female, has always wanted kids, but when she married her husband Toby, 30 male, informed they did not plan on having children. I was put off, but I thought it was a decision that they made as a couple. Wow, so Emily's trying to get pregnant without even telling their partner? A few weeks ago, I met Emily for our monthly girls' night out. After a few drinks, she admitted to me that she's always wanted to be a mother, and Toby kept on saying no due to his childhood background. She said that she's heard of men not wanting kids in their 20s, but changing their mind as they mature, and always thought that Toby would do the same, but he's remained adamant that he did not want to have any. She then told me that she had her IUD taken out, so they've been using condoms while she's choosing her next birth control option. I was shocked to hear that she was taking these used condoms to try to get pregnant in secret. Oh my God. No. I was completely taken aback. Yes, same, OP. And I told my sister that what she is doing is the female version of men poking holes in condoms. I said that she needs to stop immediately, and what she was doing was crazy. My sister blew my cancer off and said that he was just really great with other kids, and said that she knows Toby will be a great dad. She then laughed it off and changed the subject. The next day, I confided in my husband. He was disgusted and said that what she's doing is unacceptable, and said that I can't let her continue doing this. I called Emily and I said that I was freaked out about what she told me, and I wanted her to promise me that she would stop trying to get pregnant without Toby's consent. Emily got defensive and said that I didn't understand the situation because my husband's always been excited about kids, even more than me. She said that she made a mistake bringing it up to me, and that I needed to drop the subject because it's her life. A week after that phone call, I still couldn't let it go. I reached out to her husband behind her back and I asked to grab a coffee. me. I tried to keep it vague that he should talk to her more about her idea on kids because I didn't think she was being honest with him. We did some back and forth, but he still wasn't getting it. I finally spilled the beans that I think she's trying to get pregnant, and he kept pressing on how and what I knew. Once the condom thing came out, he looked sick and quickly excused himself. An hour-ish after, Emily began to blow up my phone with missed calls and texts, freaking out, calling me all sorts of terrible stuff. I finally picked up on one of her calls and she was hysterical on how I ruined her marriage and that Toby threw out the word divorce during their fight. She screamed that I'm jealous of her and her focus on her career and wanted to be the only one with kids because my whole personality is being a good-for-nothing stay-at-home mum. No, you were just doing something disgusting and OP had to tell your partner. OP's not in the wrong and it's the only thing that I've ever achieved. This broke my heart and I couldn't listen anymore, so I hung up. I turned off my phone and I started sobbing. After this, Emily got a hold of my family to blame me for turning Toby against her and that I'm causing her to get divorced. Absolutely no responsibility for her actions. My mum, who's kind of like the matriarch of the family, told me that while what Emily did was not great, a lot of men do change their minds, like my dad did once they accidentally got pregnant with me, and what I did was not my place and unforgivable. So your mum did the exact same thing, did she? Oh yeah, that's really telling, isn't it, mum? I've since been uninvited to Christmas, and my family has either been against me, cold to me, or uncomfortable around me. Only my husband's been on my side and told me that what I did was the moral thing. Yeah, absolutely, OP. And maybe it's best that they're not on your side. They sound like they kinda suck, OP. I don't know what to do. I really thought that I was doing the right thing, but everybody seems to hate me now. I don't know how to fix this and I really need help. I really wasn't trying to ruin her marriage, but it feels like my whole family has blown up. I feel like I've made a terrible mistake. Do you think I was wrong? Yeah, the top comment, maybe she got the idea from your mum, as your father didn't want kids until you came along. Your birth maybe wasn't an accident. Yeah, by the sounds of it, OP's mum did the exact same. Oh, that's actually despicable. Your sister-in-law is vile, and they're not taking any responsibility for her actions too. Yeah, that's so typical, isn't it? Oh, how could this be my fault that I'm doing something disgusting? Blaming everybody but themselves. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. Your family, except your husband and brother-in-law, are nuts. You didn't want to know this. She told you and made it your business. This is controlling and abusive behavior and you had to tell him. Let them be mad. These are the kind of people you can't trust anyway. Yeah, this is really showing who the good people in your family are, OP. This comment says, not the a-hole. This is abuse. If the roles were reversed and he was secretly tampering with her birth control, you'd say something, no questions asked. You did the right thing. Yeah, you did do the right thing, OP. That's disgusting. Trying to baby trap this poor guy. Of course he should know. And OP, the people that are siding with your sister, that is so telling of them morally that I feel like you're better off without them anyway. You don't need somebody that thinks that's okay. AKA your mum. By the sounds of it, your mum did this to your dad. Your mum said to you, what I did was not my place and it was unforgivable. Imagine standing up for the sister here. Like, oh, I wonder why you're backing them up so much. Is it because maybe you feel guilty because you did the same? OP does have this comment. My mum and my dad were dating when they got pregnant with me. My mum said that my dad seemed indifferent about the subject of kids, but after I was born, he became a super attentive parent and my dad agrees. Maybe my sister listened to that story and took it too far. I'd hate to think that my mum would be capable of doing something like that, but all of this is making me second guess myself. Yeah, for sure, OP. I would not be surprised if your sister went to your mum, said, oh, mum, I really want to have kids, but Toby doesn't want to have kids. And I wouldn't be surprised if your mum told her to do this. Like, maybe not, but I don't feel like that would be a surprise, or at least encouraging of this sort of behavior. Okay, moving on to post number 10, and then I'm pretty sure we have one more story after that one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to share my homemade meals with my roommate's boyfriend? So I, 25 female, have a roommate, Sarah, 26 female, who recently started dating this guy, Tom, 28 male. I cook most of my meals from scratch because I enjoy it, and it's cheaper and healthier for me. Sarah's fine with it, and occasionally I'll share leftovers with her when I make extra. No problem. Lately though, Tom started coming over more often, almost daily, and has been helping himself to my food. He doesn't even ask, doesn't offer to contribute groceries, and never says thank you. Oh my god. I didn't say anything at first because I didn't want to be rude. No, don't worry about being rude, OP. But last week I came home to find that he'd eaten an entire portion of food that I'd made for my next day's lunch. I finally confronted Sarah about it and I said I didn't appreciate Tom eating my food. She brushed it off saying that he's just comfortable here and that it's not a big deal. Terrible way to react to that. I told her it is a big deal because I budget and I plan my meals. And if he's eating my food, it throws everything off. OP, he's not eating your food, he's stealing your food. I made it clear that I wouldn't be sharing anymore and I asked her to let Tom know. Fast forward to yesterday, I made a pot of chili and Tom came over when I was out. When I got back, a big chunk chunk of it was gone. Who the hell do you think you are, Tom? I was furious and I told Sarah that this was exactly what I was talking about and it needed to stop. Sarah said that I was overreacting and called me stingy for not sharing food when it's just a couple of bites. Spoiler, it's not. I told her I'm not her boyfriend's chef and that I don't owe him free meals. Now things are tense and Sarah's acting like I'm the bad guy here. Tom hasn't said anything directly, but I can tell Sarah told him because he's been giving me the cold shoulder. I'm starting to feel guilty, but I don't think I'm wrong for wanting boundaries here. Am I the a-hole? Why haven't you confronted Tom? Go to Tom and say, bro, stop stealing my food. Yeah, like the top comment says, use the ugly words like steal. He's stealing your food. Yeah, sure, he's comfortable being a thief. And now they're both working on you getting their way. Not the a-hole. Don't feel guilty. They're manipulating you. This comment says, first of all, stop worrying about being rude. You need to be rude. You need to tell Tom to stop being a damn mooch and that he owes you so-and-so for the food that he's already stolen from you. Do not back down from this. Way too many women are raised to always be nice and don't be rude and don't make waves. Yeah, that shit. Stand up for yourself in no uncertain terms. Completely. Go up to Tom, look at him in the eyes and say, stop stealing my food, you freeloading leech. Yeah, sorry, but it annoys me when people in these stories don't stand up for themselves enough. Don't enable this OP. Don't let this happen. Don't walk on eggshells around Tom either. Yeah, not the a-hole, but please OP, say something to him. Okay, the last story of the day, post number 11. I hope you guys have had a good time today. Am I the a-hole for being such a to my dad's wife after my mum died? My 17 female parents got divorced 6 years ago because my dad was cheating. His wife Hazel worked with my mum and knew us, so the breakup was bad, and my brother 19 male and I didn't think that dad was such a good guy after we found out what he did, and our relationship with him was never the same. We never liked his wife, and over time I grew to hate her. She expected things to be okay, and of course they weren't. I don't know why she was deluded enough to think that me and my brother would like her, or that mum would care about what happens to her. Things got way nastier at the same time the divorce was finalized, and dad married Hazel. She was pregnant and had a miscarriage a few days before the wedding. She called mum to ask her to take us to the hospital to see her, and mum said no. Hazel cried down the phone to mum about the miscarriage and how she needed her family around her and to show compassion. My mum told her that she had no compassion for the woman who broke up her marriage. Yeah. Hazel called my mum while I was at her and my dad's house. My brother was old enough to stop going by this point, and she told mum that she set a bad example and to think about the sibling me and my brother lost. Mum said that she was glad it happened to Hazel and dad and that we wouldn't have to deal with a half sibling from them since they were cheating. I think she said I couldn't really hear everything. Hazel went nuts and never forgot what mum said. Once I was old enough, I stopped going to dad's house too, and I ignored any contact from Hazel, and I did everything to shut her out. I still had to speak to dad sometimes, so mum wouldn't get in trouble for not encouraging some sort of contact, but Hazel wasn't a part of that. Sometimes she did show up when dad did, and she'd be very hostile to mum, and she expected us to side with her. Yeah, deluded is a good word. My mum was diagnosed with cancer in January, and she died 3 weeks ago. My brother and I were with her, and dad came when he heard mum was gone, and took us to his house. We didn't want to go, but he insisted that he needed to be there for us. Hazel was there waiting for us and tried to hug us and stuff, but we shut her down. My brother and I were both crying, and I was asking him how we were meant to do all of this. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. This is such a bad situation. Dad said he was there for that and that we needed to lean on him. Then Hazel said the bad influence was finally out of their life and we could work on our relationship with each other. Oh, how dare you, Hazel. My brother cursed at her and told her to shut up. Yeah, of course. Hazel said stuff like that was mum's fault, and it was sad how we didn't see mum as the disgusting piece of crap that she was. She said that I heard what mum told her on the phone that day and still chose mum. Yeah, of course OP did. I told her she was twisted if she thought that I'd pick my dad's mistress over my own mum. And I told her that I'd never have a relationship with her, and she's disgusting and a nasty person. And I didn't give a crap what mum said to her because she deserved it all and more. Yeah, good job OP. Hazel lost it and my brother took me to our grandparents. Dad tried to stop us from leaving and tried to make me come back, but I said no. I've stayed with my grandparents since, and my brother's still here. My brother and I shut dad out, and we didn't tell him anything about the funeral, even though he asked us. Hazel tried to reach out to me, and I ignored her. Then dad and Hazel started texting me to say that I need to apologize for being so awful to her, and it wasn't her fault that mum died. Yeah, but it's her fault for being disgusting and awful to them. Am I the a-hole? No. Oh my god, what is your dad doing? Why is your dad siding with Hazel? Yeah, like this comment says, I'm so sorry for your loss, and intensely dislike people like Hazel. So self-centered. Yeah, it doesn't get much worse than that. Their mum died, and Hazel says, oh, well, at least the bad influence is gone. Oh my god. This comment says, not the a-hole. Hazel really said, I broke up your family, disrespected your mum, and now I'm the victim. Girl, what? The audacity is on sale, and she bought the whole shelf. You don't owe her a single apology. She's been messy since day one. Keep chilling with your grandparents and your brother. That's the real support squad. Yeah, and your dad is the worst OP. What is he doing here? The comment above that one says, block Hazel and your father and stop picking up their calls. You are not an a-hole. You're all your brother has right now with your grandparents. You need to mourn your loss. Losing your mother is a debilitating and tragic loss that you're going to carry for the rest of your lives. You're an adult now, almost 18. Tell Hazel that you're going to get a protection order and charge her with harassment if she keeps up her BS. My condolences to you and your brother for your loss. Hazel is nobody to you or your brother or your family. You need to find a way to mourn your mother and get her SS survivor benefits for yourself and your brother and get all of her life insurance benefits. You are both almost adult beneficiary. If your mother had a will before her passing, get that will and have it executed. Get professional help and a lawyer who can help you and your brother to get what were your mother's assets in that marriage. Again, not the a-hole, and condolences to you and your brother for your loss. Yeah, and like this one says too, your dad sounds like a spineless ass. One day he's going to realize everything that he gave up for an affair and he's going to come crying back. Yeah, 100%. I don't understand his point of view here at all. And Hazel's been nothing but a toxic piece of garbage to you, OP. Like the entire time since you met her. Oh yeah, that's absolutely vile behavior. Yeah, okay, that's enough for today. We need to read something wholesome. That was too much. 7-year-old kids today, iPhones, iPads, AirPods. Me when I was 7. Hello into the fan blades. Yeah, the original auto-tune. That is so funny. I did that so many different times. That's so cute. I feel like we've all done this. Oh yeah, this one. My cat's brought home a big mouse and doesn't know what to do with it. It's a new friend. That is so cute. And the cat is so cute too. Like a different, bigger version of Chia. So cute. Yeah, that was a roller coaster of a video, and I hope you guys had a good time today. If you did and you haven't subscribed already, definitely subscribe if you want to. I make these episodes all the time and they're so fun. And yeah, thank you for watching today's episode, everybody. I feel like I need to go wind down after all the stuff that we read today. Oh god, some of that was disgusting. And yeah, good job making it to the end of the episode, guys. The comment of the day today goes to Kai. It's always such a relief when a story that I think is going to go awfully ends up at worst mildly embarrassing. Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? Like the today I messed up stories. Those ones are especially embarrassing. Yeah, with the stuff that we read, it's such a relief when we read something that's funny or embarrassing or not completely disgusting or scary. Yeah, I completely understand what you mean, Kai. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you for the support, everybody. I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!